Good morning and welcome to this morning yoga stretch for flexibility, mobility, and relaxation. This session will awaken your body and calm your mind with the soothing flow of Vinyasa and the deep release of Yin Yoga poses. Your breath will guide you through the gentle movements, allowing the softness of every stretch to flow through you. Welcome back to Devi Daily Yoga, where it's not about how your yoga looks, it's all about how it feels. As we move through each pose, remember to honor your body's needs and limitations. This is a time for gentle exploration to release any tightness or stiffness from the night's sleep. So find a peaceful place, roll out your mat, and let's begin our morning yoga stretch. We'll start in a comfortable cross-legged seat with the option to use a cushion underneath for a little bit of lift. Resting the hands on the knees, close the eyes, and take a big breath in. And as you exhale, begin to tune into yourself. And another deep breath in. Fill your heart, fill your belly, and fill your back. And exhale, softening down through your sitting bones, relaxing the weight of your legs. Breathe in again. And as you exhale, release whatever it is you were doing just before this to fully enter into this moment, this time of self-care. Breathing, inhaling. And as you exhale, soften your shoulders down your back. Feel the crown of your head rise up. Dedicating this time to yourself, nurturing your inner being, listening to the sound of your breath. And attuning to what's going on inside. Attuning to your inner self. Sensing the inner vibrations, the warmth of this heart. Gently allow the eyes to open now and come into child's pose. Climbing onto hands and knees, with the knees about hips width apart, and settle the hips back. Resting the forehead on the earth and letting the palms meet the ground. And feel the fronts of the shins and the fronts of the feet on the ground, the tops of the feet. And take a big breath into your back body. And exhale, soften down through these points of contact. Inhaling into the whole back body again, side to side, from shoulder to shoulder. Exhale and lengthen down from the base of the skull down to the tailbone. And now round the spine to come up to hands and knees. Inhaling here. And as you exhale, bring your hips and shoulders toward the right and back toward your heels. And over to the left and forward. Continue circling around like this. The spine making a C curve to one direction and then a C curve to the other direction. Another couple circles going around in this direction. Widening the ribs toward each side. Go ahead and change the direction of your circles now. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. Take one more circle around. Good, and coming back to a neutral position. Inhale, lift the gaze, cow pose, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. And in this downward dog, begin by walking the legs. Press one heel down and then press the other heel down, bending the opposite knee each time, continuing to walk the legs out. And now let's walk the legs wide so that they come as wide as the mat. And step them a few inches forward so that you can really feel a calf stretch here, along with the back of the leg stretch, the hamstrings. Good, let's take another step forward, about a foot on the mat, kind of something between an uttanasana, forward bend, and a downward dog. And now walk the legs all the way forward toward the hands to come into your standing forward bend, uttanasana, hanging over the legs. Deep breath in, long breath out. And letting the hands and arms hang to either side, draping the arms. Maybe you're tracing your fingers along the ground, maybe you're just hanging, and feeling this side to side waving movement of your spine. Good, let's bring it back to the center now. Hands to the shins, inhale, lengthen in your halfway lift. And exhale, come back down. Stepping back into plank pose. Shoulders line up over the wrists as you inhale your breath. And exhale down into 8-point pose. Knees, chest, and chin to the ground with a little back bend, hips in the air. And glide forward and up to your cobra pose, pressing into the back bend. You decide how high to go here, whatever feels good. Inhale. And exhale. Tuck the toes, downward dog. Bend the knees, lift the sitting bones nice and high as you press strong into the arms. Exhaling, sink the heels down toward the ground. Let's take the right leg up and back. And bend the knee. And with the knee bent, begin to make some figure 8 moves of your knee in the sky. Drawing a figure 8 with your knee. It's a little bit of an interesting move here that really gets the hips warmed up. Good, let's inhale this leg all the way up and back. And exhale, bring it forward into dragon. We'll drop the back knee to the ground and sweep the arms up for Anjani Asana. Arms come over the head. Finding your back bend here, press into the front foot. Inhale, lean back a little more. And exhale, elbows come out to the sides, cactus arms. Inhale your breath. As you exhale, bring the palms together in front of your heart. Inhale, lift the ribs up away from the front thigh. And exhale, come into a twist, left elbow across the knee. Twisting to your right. Breathe. Inhale. And exhale, bring it back around to the center. Hands come to frame the front foot. Shift your hips back, come into half split. Draw the right toes toward your face. And wiggle your hips side to side to feel into the back of your right thigh, hamstrings lengthening. Inhale, lift up through the chest, lengthen the heart. As you exhale, set the front foot down again, bend into the front knee, taking dragon pose. Both hands come on the inside of the foot or your variation of a yin dragon pose. And here's where we move into our first 2-minute hold. So any version or variation of dragon that you're familiar with will be just fine here. And the idea is to sink down through the front of the left thigh, lengthening the front of the left thigh and the front of the left hip where the psoas and the hip flexors live. Option to take it into a dragon twist or a dragon's tail if you're familiar. And finding the sense of a back bend here as you lengthen up through the heart. Lift the head a little bit and soften down through the hips and through the back leg. Deep breath in and a long breath out. And with each breath, can you feel your body releasing into the pose a little bit more? Can you feel the tissues of your legs and your lower back softening? Slowly now, bring it back up to the center, hands on either side of the front foot. Tuck the back toes and step back into plank. Inhale, shoulders over the wrists, and exhale, drop the knees, come through your 8-point pose, and forward into cobra. Low cobra, medium or high. Exhale, tuck the toes, downward dog. Inhale, deep breath. And as you exhale, lift your left leg up. Bend the knee and finding your figure eights in the sky with your knee. Feeling the hip warming up. Inhale, leg extends all the way up now. Exhale, step the leg through for your lunge. Drop the back knee to the ground. And finding your Anjaneyasana. Arms come up over the head. Finding the back bend here as you inhale deeply. And exhale, elbows come out to the sides into cactus arms. Exhale, hands to the heart. Lift the ribs up away from the front thigh and twist, bringing right elbow across the knee. Palms together on the left side of your heart. Gentle leverage of the right elbow into the knee. Twisting in the spine. Feel the length of the front of the right thigh and inhale. And exhale, release to come back to center. Hands frame the front foot as you shift your hips back into half split. Wiggling the hips side to side as much as feels good here as you feel into your left hamstrings. Breathing. And bring the leg forward, knee forward, front foot flat. Finding dragon pose, both hands on the inside or your preferred variation for today. Finding length in the heart and softness in the back leg. Relax the front of the right thigh. Relax the front of the right hip, feeling deeply into the psoas, which is deep in front of the spine and in front of the right leg. And as you breathe, can you sense any stiffness or tightness softening in this area? Feeling into the gentle back bend of the right side of your back that's happening here as well. Taking another full breath in now. And a full exhale in the pose. And release, tuck the back toes, big step back into plank pose. Inhale, knees down, exhale, moving through your mini vinyasa into cobra and all the way back into child's pose this time. And breathing in child's pose. With your inhale, come up to hands and knees. And moving into thread the needle pose. Lift your left arm up to the sky. Turn your gaze as you inhale. And exhale, slide the left arm under the right. Again, holding here for 2 minutes. With the right hand walking up above the head, palm on the ground. Roll your right shoulder back and see if you can tuck your left shoulder under you a little bit more. Breathing in, breathing out, softening through the spine as it twists, softening through the outside of the left shoulder, releasing in the upper body as you continue to rest here. Option 2, wrap the right arm around the back now for the 2nd minute here. You could tuck the hand into the left thigh crease or whatever works for you. Maybe find a little more length now in the left side of the neck. And can you breathe into everything you're feeling at this moment? As you exhale, can you relax every part of your body? Slowly unwinding now, right hand to the floor, untwist as you bring left hand to the floor, and change to the second side. Right arm reaches up, turn your gaze up and inhale. Exhale, slide right arm under the left. Left hand walks up above the head, pressing palm into the ground or fingertips into the ground, your choice. And and settling into the version of the pose that feels good to you here. Feel free to play around with things like the distance between your two knees and the angles of your arms. Might feel good to walk the left fingertips up toward the right corner of your mat as you open the left shoulder back. Wherever you have landed, inhale a deep breath. And exhale, allow the spine to become soft. Feeling the pliability of your spinal discs. And feel the breath where it moves as your body is in this twist. Inhale. And as you exhale, wrap your left arm around your back if it feels okay. Otherwise, you could stay where you were. And maybe lengthening the right side of the neck along the ground. Breathing in and breathing out. Relaxing the whole body as it twists. Slowly unwinding now, coming back around to hands and knees. Inhale into cow. And exhale, tuck the toes, downward dog. Optional vinyasa here as you shift your shoulders forward over your wrists. With or without the knees down this time, come into your chaturanga on inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Long breath out. Right leg lifts up into the air. Find a back bend here as you bend the knee and think about bringing your heel and the base of your skull toward one another. Inhale, deep breath. And now coming toward sleeping swan pose, knee to the top of the mat. Settle the back leg down. Lift up into an up swan. Shoulders back, lengthen the front of the left thigh. And exhale, come forward onto elbows or head on a prop or head on your hands. Or extend the arms out in front of you. 2 minutes here to explore, stretching into the outer left hip, lengthening the glutes, and stretching deep into the external rotators. If there's discomfort in the knee here, feel free to shift around. Hips can sway right to left. You could bend the back knee, whatever you need to do to alleviate knee pain in this position. And now take a deep breath in and a big exhale, relaxing into the position, relaxing your mind. Feeling the contact of whatever parts of your body are touching the floor. Steady breathing, finding your inner rhythm. Slowly now release, lifting up to make your way into either downward dog or moving through your choice of a vinyasa through plank, with or without the knees coming down, and up into your back bend. Meeting in downward dog. Deep breath into the back, and exhale, sink the heels down toward the earth. Lift your left leg up as you inhale your breath. Find this back bend again, heel toward the glutes. As you lift your gaze, think about bringing the toes toward the base of the skull. Now we exhale into sleeping swan, knee toward the top of the mat. Lifting up into up swan. Lengthening the front of the body on the right side. And exhaling down into your version of sleeping swan, maybe bending the back knee, leaning over onto the hip, whatever you feel works best to stretch into your left glutes now. Deep breath in and exhale. Noticing where there's tightness in the body and breathing into that place. Every exhale is an opportunity to surrender into the stillness. Being completely present now with this next breath. And slowly rise up. And sit over onto your left hip. Bring the back leg around to the front to come into butterfly pose. Soles of your feet together. And you could optionally use your cushion under your seat. As you take your hands around your ankles or your toes, inhale, and exhale, soften forward over the legs. You can play around with how close your heels are to your groin, or you could be quite far away and see how that feels. Lengthening the spine, stretching into the inner thighs, the inner groins. As you take your next breath in, let it broaden across the back of the body. As you breathe out, let the back of the body become softer. Slowly now coming up. And as you come up, draw the knees together. Plant the feet about hips width as you take your hands behind you on the floor and lift up into an upward table. Lifting up through the hips, sending the head back. Strong glutes here to lift a little bit higher. And now exhaling, hips down to the ground, finding your boat pose as you lift your feet off the ground. And you could stay here with hands on the floor or experiment with balancing, maybe bringing the hands next to the feet. Inhale the breath. And as you exhale, bringing your upper body toward the floor more and bring your legs toward the floor, challenging the core a little bit, or a lot. And lift up, bringing knees in toward the ribs as much as you can. And we'll do that one more time, lengthening. Pulling it in, zip it up. And now taking both feet to the floor, hands behind you. Let's extend the legs forward this time. And lift up into an upward plank. Send the head back. Feel the glutes engage, the hamstrings engage, and all the muscles along your spine to lift your body nice and high. As you exhale, hips to the floor, drape the body forward over the legs into Paschimottanasana, or caterpillar pose, as we call it in the yin yoga world. We'll hold here for 2 minutes. Hands might be on the shins, the ankles, the feet, or the floor. And you may wish to use your cushion under your seat to get more out of this if you feel like you don't get enough out of it. Let's take a deep breath in to the whole spine and breathe out to release tension in the spine. And now a big breath into the backs of the legs. And exhale to let go of tightness in the legs. Steady, even flow of breath, tuning into your inner rhythm of breathing. Settling into stillness in the body as the breath continues to flow. Slowly now rise up from caterpillar pose and continue all the way down onto your back. And bend both knees, hug them into the chest. Feel this moment of arrival on the floor. Rock side to side if it feels good on your spine. And release feet to the floor, arms down alongside of your body. Lift up into bridge pose. Firmly planting the feet down, squeezing the glutes, squeeze the muscles along the spine. Lift your sternum up and back toward the wall behind you. Maybe spread out your toes, lifting the toes up a little from the floor. And now we exhale, hips down toward the floor. Come into spinal twist. Both knees come in and over to the right. Right hand resting on the knees, left arm out to the left side. You may wish to cross your knees here if you like, doing left knee over the right. And in this twisted position of the spine, take a full breath in and a long breath out. Body settles into the pose. This is a time to surrender whatever you no longer need. There's nothing you need to do at this moment except be present here in this body, here in this posture, sensing your connection with the floor. Very slowly now, bring the knees up to center and slowly switch to the second side. Knees in and over to the left. Right arm out to the right side. Cross the knees if you prefer. And once you've landed in the posture that feels right, inhale deeply and exhale fully. And with your next breath in, can you feel the waist expand and the lower back and the belly? And can you exhale from this lower torso, twisting a little bit more, finding steadiness and evenness in your breath. Slowly now bring the knees back up to center and straighten out the hips and the shoulders as we come into final relaxation, Shavasana. Make yourself comfortable, adding any extra cushions or clothing to keep yourself warm. And spread your arms and legs out on the ground so that you really feel like you're claiming space here. Finding a deep breath in to fill the whole body, every cell, every tissue. And exhale, feel the whole weight of your body releasing into the support of the floor. And after all of the moving, stretching that we've done, can you feel into the energy body? Can you sense what energy is moving through you now? Sensing into this rebound. Sensing the movement within the stillness. Take a deep breath in now. And as you exhale, wiggle your fingers and toes, stretch out into your arms and legs. Interlace the fingers, press the palms up and away as you stretch down long through both legs and feet. Inhale. And exhale, release as you bend your knees, roll over to one side, slowly lift up into a comfortable seat. Cushion under the seat if you'd like. As you rest in your seat, feel yourself return to center. Feel the energy of your body now concentrating in the spine. And as we charge up the powerful energy centers of the spine, let's amplify it by chanting Om 3 times. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. And take a deep breath in. Om. And that closes today's session. I hope that you feel awakened in your body and relaxed in your mind. Thanks for practicing with Devi Daily Yoga. If you liked this session, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you all in the comments section. And hit the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so that you hear about future videos that I publish. I'll see you in the next one.